So, my name is Kia, and I'm part of the Midgard Viking Brotherhood, and we effectively are a bunch of bearded men, if this hasn't given it away, who have banded together to do great things for our communities and for sort of the world at large. And this video is one of those things. We are doing a sponsored wax to raise funds for Refuge. Refuge is a UK charity which supports women and children who are either survivors or are currently suffering from domestic violence and domestic abuse. They cover a wide range of areas, including female genital mutilation, human trafficking. They deal with modern day slavery, honour violence, forced marriage, as well as less well-known forms of abuse, such as economic abuse and technological abuse. So there we go, Refuge, that's the charity that we're supporting. We are aiming to raise £200, which is something that we have already met, and now we're trying to go even further. So join me as I have the hair ripped out of my arms, my legs, my back and my chest in order to raise funds for this incredible charity in its 50th year of running. Right, well here I go. Wish me luck. This is gonna hurt. So, fact number one. God, that's warm. Every year, 1.6 million women experience domestic abuse. Now that is 3 for every minute that you spend watching me get the hair ripped out of my legs. So that's not a fun number. Oh God, here we go. Okay. Okay, first one's the worst. Oh. Okay, so next fact then. You are not alone. Ow. You're not alone. As a matter of fact, 1 woman in 4 will experience domestic abuse over the course of her lifetime. Every week, 2 women are killed by a current or former partner in England and Wales. So, just going to talk a bit about Refuge here. So, basically every day, Refuge's helpline team speaks to more than 100 survivors and the people supporting them. So every day, that's more than 100 people they deal with. And right now, Refuge is supporting around 7,000 women and children and helping them rebuild their lives following abuse daily. God, the knee's not fun. So, Refuge actually opened the world's very first safe house for women and children fleeing from domestic violence in Chiswick in 1971. So they have been about this year for 50 years doing this incredible work. There you go.
Ready?
Yeah. Ankle's not fun. And since then, Refuge has become the UK's largest provider of specialist domestic aid for gender-based violent services. Refuge now runs 48 refuges, which provides 348 accommodations in 22 local areas.
This one's going to be a good one.
I hope you heard that. I've just been told this one's going to be a good one. So during COVID-19 lockdowns, the vital need of refuges was brought sharply into focus, with a number of domestic abuse killings occurring in the first 3 weeks of the pandemic, doubling to at least 16. Never before has the need for refuges been greater. Refuge actually run culturally specific services for women of many ethnicities, including Vietnamese outreach and Eastern European independent advocacy services, outreach and refuge services for South Asian women, and a refuge for African and Caribbean women. Refuge has an online British Sign Language support helpline which uses sign video and is available Monday to Friday between the hours of 10 AM and 6 PM. And that can be found on their website, https://www.refuge.org.uk. On that website, they've also got a live chat support service, which is available from Monday through to Friday, from 3 PM till 10 PM. And they also have a dedicated helpline focused upon modern slavery issues, which is available Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 5 PM. Their phone helpline, their National Domestic Abuse Helpline, is free, confidential, and available 24 hours a day on 0808 2000 247. Cool, that's looking red. So, Refuge have a vision, which is to build towards a world where domestic violence and violence against women and girls is not tolerated. Oh, wasn't so bad. And they seek to empower women and children to help them rebuild their lives free from violence and from fear. They aim to fulfill this view by following their 3 Ps approach. Provision, providing specialist services and creating the best practices for doing so. Protection, ow, campaigning for changes to the way the government responds to domestic and gender-based violence for victims and perpetrators. My God, that's different. Okay.
There's a leg under there.
There is a leg under there. And their final P, which is prevention, raising awareness about domestic violence and gender-based violence in order to prevent future abuse. Now, beyond this, in 2019 and 2020, Refuge extended their strategic priorities. This was to include safeguarding. The current provision reaches over 6,500 survivors every day, through winning contracts that are up for renewal. Competition's tough, budgets are being cut, and caseloads are increasing in complexity and number. No, that wasn't so bad.
Got used to it now, you're numb.
That's it. Oh, maybe not. Extending services to reach even more women and children who are experiencing abuse. Growing their tech abuse, trafficking, and wider violence against women and children's services. Extending their influence through policies, campaigning and communications work. Driving their agenda forward to ensure policymakers, legislators, and the criminal justice system provide protection to those at risk or are experiencing violence. So they also intend to build Refuge's independence and resilience through ongoing investment in their HR, finance, IT and fundraising and communications initiatives are allowing them to do this. So,
Got lovely legs.
some of this. I've got lovely legs apparently, you heard it here first. So, here are some of the statistics to do with Refuge and the work that they do. So 96% of Refuge's clients report feeling safer at the point of leaving Refuge's services. That's an impressive figure. 92% say that their quality of life has improved. Ouch. And 76% say that they see an end to all physical abuse after using Refuge's services. Throughout 2019 and 2020, Refuge has provided life-changing services to 15,430 survivors and their children. That's going to be a good one. 1,307 women and children accessed Refuge's provisions. 14,123 survivors and their children were supported through Refuge's community-based services. Of all of the people supported by Refuge, 3,615 women were additionally supported in overcoming technological abuse. That's nearly 15% of an increase on women supported in the previous year. And 304 women were supported with complex immigration cases. And that's an important thing to remember with Refuge, is that they are a UK-based charity, but they also do focus very heavily on human trafficking and other really quite important subjects. So for example, FGM, female genital mutilation, forced marriage and honour-based violence. And they have worked extremely hard to make sure that there is support out there for people who are either at risk of or are experiencing, or those who have even experienced it and have needed the support later. And I will share in links or in a follow-up to this video the necessary contacts for that. So if you are experiencing that, or if you fear that you or someone you love may be at risk of that, then by all means use the information that I will add on. That the whole point of this, as I've said, is that no one should suffer in silence. Refuge don't want that. They need you to speak out. We are speaking out and doing this to help give survivors and give victims a voice. And as I say, I will copy that information into another post so that you have access to that. Now, of the women who entered Refuge's full suite of services last year, 1/3 of them were injured when they arrived. That's 1/3. More than 40% had their lives threatened by their abuser. 67% had experienced physical abuse. I'm being told that we're done on this side, so I guess now I have to roll over. Now, 31% of the women who entered Refuge services had experienced sexual violence. 86% had actually encountered psychological violence, and 38% had experienced economic abuse. I will go into greater detail about what constitutes economic abuse, because abuse does take all forms, and it's not just the physical act of one person hitting another. Not all abuse is physical. All of the services are trauma informed for Refuge, and Refuge support women with very complex needs. God, behind the knee is not fun. 18% of survivors disclosed needs related to drugs and 5% to alcohol. 22% had mental health difficulties. 6% had no access to public funds. And 10% of women said that they were feeling suicidal by the time that they had reached out to Refuge. Some further statistics here, and it goes to show the impact of the work that they do. While the scale of what Refuge is doing is hugely daunting, their services throughout the year of 2019 to 2020 did achieve some spectacular results. So 95% of survivors said that they felt safer after they'd left Refuge's services. 92% achieved the changes they wanted in their lives across safety, health, social and economical well-being. 91% were supported to find safe new homes. And 93% said that their quality of life had improved. It's actually nice to get a bit of downtime. And that again is something I'm making these flippant comments. Domestic abuse isn't a joke. While I'm getting a break from this, while the wax is being applied, etc., there are those who aren't getting a break, and that's why Refuge do what they do. They're there to provide the breathing space, to provide the support and help that women and children suffering from domestic abuse are desperately, desperately needing. Of the people leaving Refuge's support, 46% had reported an end to all abuse and controlling behaviour that they'd experienced from their partner or their abuser. And 99% felt confident that they knew how to access help in the future. And that's one of the things that Refuge does. Once they have supported a person, that's not the end of it. Refuge will continue to lend support in any way that they can. Yes, they have limited resources, but their dedication to providing the support to those that need it is unbelievable. It's unswavering. It doesn't stop for them. Refuge teams actually contributed to criminal justice outcomes for the women that they've supported through 2019 and 2020, including 824 perpetrators of domestic abuse being charged for their crimes. Now, bear in mind, this is not just assault. You're looking at things like human trafficking, slavery, modern slavery. You are looking at things like forced marriage, which is a crime in the UK. Honour-based violence is a crime in the UK, and these all factor into those 824 perpetrators that were charged. They also managed to help get 316 guilty verdicts. So it really is making a world of difference to these victims. So what actually constitutes domestic abuse? What is domestic abuse? Well, domestic abuse is a pattern of behaviour on the part of the abuser which is designed to control their partner. This can happen at any point in a relationship, including after you've split up. So just because that person is no longer in an active relationship with you, their abuse can still continue, and Refuge will help you with that. Don't think that just because you're no longer in a relationship with this person that you're not eligible for their assistance. You very much are. Anyone who's forced to change their behaviour because they are frightened of their partner or their ex-partner's reaction to something, ow, is experiencing abuse. And an important thing to remember here is that domestic abuse can happen to anyone, regardless of age, regardless of background, gender, religion, sexuality or ethnicity. However, statistics show most domestic abuse is carried out by men and experienced by women. It's statistically shown. The majority of perpetrators of domestic violence against women and children are men. And just while we're taking off the last little bits there, it's something Refuge make a big point of. I'm going to make a big point of it now, which is that domestic abuse is never the fault of the person who is experiencing the abuse. You've not done anything to earn this. You shouldn't allow yourself to think that. If you are thinking that, reach out to Refuge. I will share their helpline number. Again, I've already mentioned it once. 0808 2000 247. Contact them, call them, ask for help. It's never your fault.